everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Linda, and if this is your first time here, I'm so glad you found us. And if you're about to watch some more Supernatural with me, welcome back. So I want to start today by apologizing. I'm very, very sick. I have a super bad cold, courtesy of my daughter and her schoolmates, I believe. But yeah, so I sound pretty rough. And there may be a little bit of coughing. I'm going to try to keep that to a minimum. I have my Halls, and I took my Dayquil. No product placements intended. But so I'm hoping that I'll be able to get through it. I didn't want to not record, so here we are. Also, this is one of my favorite episodes of season 1, for sure. Top 3, absolutely, of season 1. And it's season 1, episode 9, Home. And this one is near and dear to my heart, I think partly because, I mean, it's a great episode, but partly because this was the episode that sort of got me all in on the show. And, you know, I mean, I had enjoyed the show up to this point. I loved the pilot. I had enjoyed all of it. Like, I was quite happy with the show, but then this episode made me go, oh, there's like a lot to mine here. You know, like there's a lot of lore that they can sort of go down. There's a lot of world building they can do. There's a lot here. For me, it just felt like it opened up a lot, and it was so well done, and it was so early on in the season. I mean, you know, about halfway through, not quite halfway through, but because I was expecting to not really hear anything about John or what had happened, you know, with their mom or any of that stuff. I hadn't expected to hear about any of it until much further on, like end of the season. As I mean, they do, obviously they get quite a bit deeper into what happened at the end of season 1. But I was expecting all of that to come at the end of season 1, or even into like season 2, or you know, like I expected them to draw out that mystery a little longer. Not that there's not. Obviously, there's still tons of mystery and lore surrounding her that we don't know at this point, surrounding Mary and the yellow-eyed demon, and all of that. Obviously, there's lots we don't know at this point. But they introduced parts of it, and I wasn't expecting them to, and I really liked that. I liked that they were giving us, you know, they were feeding us little bits, which was awesome. Excuse me, and unexpected. And so I really, really, this one just sort of clinched it for me. I was like, yep, I'm in. I want to know all about the boys. I want to know about how they grew up. I want to know about Mary. I want to know about John. I want to know what happened that night. I want to know who did that to her. I want to know who's stalking them now. Like, it just, I was so invested after this episode. And then, of course, we get a ton of great episodes after this. So, but this was like the first one that really, like I said, I enjoyed all the others, of course. Like, loved Skin, Phantom Traveler was so funny. I enjoyed them very much. But this was the first episode that made me just, it sold me. I was in. And so I appreciate that about this episode every time. And then, of course, it was also the first time, again, not the first time, but it was one of the first really noticeable times that we got to see Jensen's incredible acting skills, and it's such a small moment. Like it's not long, you know. It's when he's calling John, obviously. It's such a short moment, but it like surprised me. There's so much there in that moment. There's so much vulnerability from him, and it's so completely different than anything else we've seen from Dean up until that point. And it made me cry because Dean cries, we cry, and I was completely surprised by it, and just how vulnerable he was in that moment, and how much he clearly needed help, and how much he was willing to reach out for it. It was a big surprise, and I was blown away by Jensen's ability to bring all of that into this, like a minute and a half, maybe not even. Amazing. So there's a lot. I love this episode, obviously. There's a lot a lot of great things about it. So without further ado, let's just get into it. Season 1, Episode 9, Supernatural, Home.
Hey, sweetie. Why aren't you in bed? There's something in my closet.
Yikes.
See? Nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
You're sure? The chair. Okay. The chair. Just to be safe.
Not sure that's going to be quite the safety measure you believe it to be.
Don't let it be rats.
You desperately, definitely want it to be rats. Because it's not rats. And that would be me running back up the stairs. Immediately. I wouldn't have gone down there to begin with. Oh, maybe there's rats. What are you going to do? Are you going to catch them all right now? Then don't go down into the basement at night by yourself. And certainly don't go down into the basement at night by yourself with no lights on. As soon as the switch didn't work, that would have been it. I'm like, well, I'm going to look for rats tomorrow. Hi, Mary. The fire monster is Mary. She's coming to save the little girl. The little girl just doesn't know it and is terrified. You should be less fiery, Mary. It'll scare her less.
Dean, I know where we have to go next.
Where?
Back home. Back to Kansas.
Okay, random. Where'd that come from?
I have these nightmares.
I've noticed.
And sometimes they come true.
Come again? I mean, first you tell me that you've got The Shining, and then you tell me that I've got to go back home? Especially
When what?
when I swore to myself that I would never go back there?
Look, Dean, we have to check this out. Just to make sure.
I know we do.
All in. I was so all in.
But we're with the Federal
I'm
Bureau.
Sam Winchester, and this is my brother, Dean.
Chester. It was so funny. You know, I think I found some of your photos the other night. Yeah, come on in.
Pretty sure there's still absolutely zero chance I would let two super tall, super giant dudes into my house alone with me and just my two children. Just saying. But having said that, you know, the Winchesters are pretty persuasive. People tend to respond to them.
Ashlyn, I think was here when Dean lived here.
What, Sari?
The thing in my closet, I wasn't dreaming. It came into my bedroom, and it was on fire.
You hear that? A figure on
Yikes.
fire. We dig into the history of the house.
Exactly, except this time we already know what happened.
Yeah, but how much do we know? I mean, how much do you actually remember?
About that night, you mean?
Yeah.
Not much. I remember the fire, the heat. Then I carried you out the front door.
You did?
Yeah, well, you never knew that?
No.
Yeah. Talked to Dad's friends, neighbors, people who were there at the time.
Does this feel like just another job to you?
Dad? I know I've left you messages before. I don't even know if you get them. But I'm with Sam, and we're in Lawrence. And there's something in our old house. I don't know if it's the thing that killed Mom or not. don't know what to do. So, whatever you're doing, if you could get here, please. I need your help, Dad.
Heart ripped. Poor thing. This is so disturbing. That friggin' monkey is just... no. I'd be taking that thing and throwing it into another room. I feel like carburetors, or what are they called? Garbage disposals in the States. I feel like they're much more prevalent in the States. I don't think we don't have them as much here in Canada. We had one in one house we lived in growing up, but there's no way in God's green earth you could have got me to stick my hand in it, no matter how off it was.
But, oh, he sure loved Mary. And he doted on those kids.
But that was before the fire.
Yeah, that was before the fire.
Missouri Mosley, some dude.
Wait. Missouri Mosley?
What?
That's a psychic?
Yeah, I guess so.
First page, first sentence, read that.
I went to Missouri, and I learned the truth.
I always thought he meant the state.
Well, let me look at you. Oh, you boys grew up handsome. And you were one goofy-looking kid, too.
He was adorable when he was little. We saw him. And I mean, Jensen was adorable when he was little.
I'm sorry about your girlfriend. And your father. He's missing?
Well, where is he? Is he okay?
I don't know.
You're supposed to be a psychic, right?
Boy, you see me sewing some bony tramp in half, you think I'm a magician? I may be able to read thoughts and sense energies in a room, but I can't just pull facts out of thin air. Sit, please.
Sam is so happy. His brother keeps getting in trouble from her.
Boy, you put your foot on my coffee table, I'm gonna whack you with a spoon.
I didn't do anything.
Well, you were thinking about it.
Do you know about what killed our mom?
A little. But it was evil. I haven't been back inside, but I've been keeping an eye on the place, and it's been quiet.
But Dad going missing, and Jessica dying, and now this house, all happening at once, it just feels like something's starting.
That's a comforting thought.
I don't know.
If it's not too much trouble, we were hoping to show her the old house.
She's like, it's not a museum. How many times are you coming through my house?
I'm kind of busy.
Listen, Jenny, it's important.
Give the poor girl a break. Can't you see she's upset? Forgive this boy. He means well. He's just not the sharpest tool in the shed. But hear me out.
Rude.
What?
About this house.
What are you talking about?
I think you know what I'm talking about. You think there's something in this house, something that wants to hurt your family. You see, all those years ago, real evil came to you.
Very much real evil. Azazel is evil.
It's attracted a poltergeist. A nasty one. And it won't rest until Jenny and her babies are dead.
Nobody's dying in this house ever again. So whatever is here, how do we stop it?
And this will destroy the spirits?
It should. It should purify the house completely.
But it doesn't.
Each take a floor, but we work fast. Once the spirits realize what we're
Are
up to,
you eating it?
things are gonna get bad.
Goof. Oh. Excuse me.
Sam!
He kicks in that drywall really very easily. That is some strong legs. Wow. Dean had quite the fight with it in the kitchen.
You sure this is over?
Nope.
I'm sure. What happened?
Hi, sorry. We'll pay for all of this.
I love Dean.
Don't
It's
you
like,
worry.
will we?
Dean's gonna clean up this mess.
So much picking on Dean.
Well, what are you waiting for, boy? Get the mop. And don't cuss at me.
I love that he's cussing at her, because of course he is, in his mind. There's absolutely no way, still, whatever these nice kind strangers said, oh, all the ghosts are gone from your house now, you're good. We killed the poltergeist. I don't think I'd be, like, relaxing so easily in my bed, just like, oh, reading my parenting magazine, ready to shut off the light, close my little peepers, and go to sleep. Like, there's no way I'd be, like, up for the next 4 days straight.
I don't know. I still have a bad feeling.
Why? Missouri did her whole Zelda Rubinstein thing. The house should be clean. It should be over.
This house is clean. It's Poltergeist. Poltergeist reference.
Is I could be sleeping in a bed right now. Dang! Grab the kids. I'll get Jenny. Jenny!
I can't open the door!
Stand back! Come on.
Not my kid!
Stand
Strong
back.
legs.
Come on. Don't look. Don't look.
And this moment where he says the exact same thing to Sari that John said to Dean.
Come on, Sari. Take your brother outside as fast as you can and don't look back.
Genius. That would hurt so much. So many bruises. All the bruises. Hi, Mom. Nice to see you.
No!
What? Why?
Because I know who it is. I can see her now.
This part kills me too. Dean's face and Sam's face. Just, ugh.
Mom.
Dean.
How long it's been since he's heard her say his name. Ugh. And like Sam has never heard her say his name. Never seen her in real life.
Sam.
I mean, not that he would remember.
I'm sorry.
For what?
The amount of planning that went into the lore of this story to have this moment so far before we find
Get
out
out of my house.
at the end of season 2.
And let go of my son.
Why she's saying sorry to him. Like, we find out that I guess we don't even know then, because we only find out that she knows Azazel. We don't know what she was doing. It was not till, I guess, in the beginning, in season 4, that you find out why she was saying sorry, because she made the deal. It's just incredible storytelling.
No, it's over.
Thanks for these.
See, he wasn't a funny looking kid. He was adorable with his little mushroom haircut.
Your mom's spirit and the poltergeist's energy, they canceled each other out. Your mom destroyed herself going after the thing.
Why would you do something like that?
Well, to protect her boys, of course.
What's happening to me?
I know I should have all the answers, but I don't know.
I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna stay friends with the psychic.
Don't you boys be strangers.
Tell me if there's more poltergeists in my house.
See you
Except
around.
that you will. Because you will not see her around until season 13. But that's only because she got into Grey's Anatomy, so she was busy.
Why he couldn't sense his own father, I have no idea.
Hey, John.
Mary's spirit. Do you really think she saved the boys?
Yeah.
John Winchester, I could just slap you.
Literally me for pretty much the whole run of the show.
I want to. You have no idea how much I want to see him. But I can't. Not yet. Not until I know the truth.
And what truth is that, John? What truth is that? Okay, so that was Home. Still as amazing as always. I mean, I've rewatched that episode a lot because I really, really enjoy it. But yeah, just everything that we get out of it. You know, the boys seeing Mary again. You know, Dean for the first time since he was like not even 5 years old. And like I said, getting to hear her say their names. I not to overshare, but I lost my mom when I was quite young. I was 14 when she passed away. And there's something incredibly powerful about the idea of getting to hear her say my name again and to see her again one last time. You know, I mean, there's nothing more powerful than that idea. So the fact that the boys got to actually do that here, even though it was obviously bittersweet because then she immediately sacrifices herself to take out the poltergeist and save them. I mean, it's not properly her anyway. She's like a fiery monster, fiery spirit monster person. So, I mean, it's not fully Mary, but she sort of, I think once she saw the boys, she came back to herself, at least for a little bit there at the end. And like I said, while watching, you know, the fact that she says sorry, and that they don't pay off that sorry until really season 4, episode, was it 3? So that's a long time. And you know, like I said, we get glimpses of something more being the case, like that she wasn't just a sort of innocent bystander that got caught in the fire at the end of season 2 in episode 21. You know, when we find out that she knew the yellow-eyed demon. So then we start to understand, like, something more was happening there. But then you don't really find out what that sorry meant until season 4. So it's just, again, just amazing layered storytelling. Very, very well done. And Supernatural is fantastic at that, at laying in little ideas and little crumbs and then paying them off down the line. Excuse me. So it's so well done. It's so well acted. You know, I mean, I was praising Jensen's acting in general. Like, 'cause there's so many moments for him. Obviously, the telephone call is a very sweet moment, as I mentioned, and very well acted. But there are others. You know, when he's saying to Sam that he swore he'd never go home. You know, when he's when he sees Mary again, that moment, you can just see the like heartbreak and happiness in his face, like, because he's still seeing her, but it's not her, right? I mean, he knows she's not gonna stay. And I'm sure there's even a little bit of trepidation of like, is this actually her? Like, is this something pretending to be her? Like, so there's a lot in, Jensen is master of acting just with his face and his expressions, his like micro expressions and stuff are incredible. So I was saying, like, I was praising Jensen for all of that, and I will always praise Jensen for his incredible acting and subtle acting. But of course, Jared was wonderful here too. Amazing. All the moments, again, even like the moments at the end with Mary, you see him getting to meet her, really. A version of her anyway, for the first time, really. He won't remember her at all, obviously. But yeah, so like those moments, you see how sort of frantic he is when it's confirmed that, like, Jenny does exist, the woman he was dreaming about does exist, there is very likely something in the house, and his, like, kind of excitement, for lack of a better word, it's not quite the right word, but excitement about the fact that, like, maybe this is the thing that killed their mom, that killed Jess, like, maybe it is something, the thing that they've been looking for, and so you get that excitement, and like he's pumping on all cylinders, like he just wants to go, right? And it's Dean that has to say, like, let's step back, like, let's try to treat this like a regular case, let's try to work it, like. And that moment between the two of them, I love that moment, when they're talking, when they're sitting like on the trunk of the car or whatever at the gas station, and Dean is explaining about that night or whatever, I could feel the fire and the heat, and then I carried you out the front door, and Sam is like, you did? And that moment, like the fact that Sam didn't know all this time that Dean, obviously John saved him too, right? He pulled him out of the crib and took him to Dean, but Dean saved him. He pulled him out of a fire and got him out of the house, and all these years Sam had no idea. Probably because they talked about it very little, right? They both said too that, like, John wouldn't talk about any ideas he had about it, like, he wouldn't discuss it, so probably they talked about it very little, so how would Sam know? But it's such a huge thing that took place between them, and it's such a, like, it was like the starting point of Dean absolutely caring for Sam, and always making sure he was safe, and literally saving him time and time again. Like, that was the first time that happened, and Sam didn't even know it had happened until this point. So that moment between them is really, really sweet, and very very moving and very important, I think. But yeah, so just this whole episode is amazing, and there's so many great moments, and I just love them. And we see our first glimpse of John, since the pilot. And I think what he says there at the end, when he says, like, I can't, because when, I was going to call her Loretta, when Missouri says, why don't you go talk to your children, 100% her sentiment of, John Winchester, I could just slap you. That is pretty much how I feel about John Winchester 24/7. So I don't want to get on a big tangent about John right now. I'm going to talk a little bit more about his character. I figured I'd talk a little more about him in episode 16, Shadow, because that's when he like comes back a little more than we see him in this episode. But I'll just say that line sums up my feelings about John Winchester pretty well. I know the fandom has very strong opinions about him, and I know a lot of people, I'd say probably the majority of people in the fandom, hate him. Some of them hate him with a fiery passion, some of them just hate him a little bit, some of them, but for me, I don't hate John Winchester, and I know that that's a very unpopular opinion, and I accept that, and I don't think there's anything wrong. I completely understand where people are coming from when they say that they hate him. I get that. But like I said, I'll get into more detail about John. He's an incredibly complex character, and I'll talk to him. I'll talk about him a little bit more when we watch Shadow. But I'll just say that I don't hate him. But like I said, John Winchester, I could just slap you. That pretty much sums up how I feel about John Winchester 90% of the time. But anyway, I was going to say what he says at the end there when he says that he can't talk to them. He says, I want to see them, but I can't, not until I know the truth. I think, although I don't know that we're ever definitively given an answer, but I think he's talking about Sam's powers there. I think he's talking about, like, he doesn't want to talk to them until he knows the truth about what happened. Maybe the truth about what happened with Mary, like the fact that she made the deal, right? Because I don't think he didn't know that up until this point, as far as I know. Like, he didn't know that until, I don't know if he, again, I don't know that we ever find out whether he actually knows that. That makes sense. Yeah, like, I don't know if we ever find out whether or not John actually found out that she made a deal, and that's why Sam has the powers he has, and that's why he has demon blood, and that's why everything happened. I feel like that's what he's talking about there, though, when he says he has to find out the truth. I think he's meaning, like, he has to find out the truth about Mary, and he has to find out the truth about what actually happened to Sam, because I think maybe he doesn't want to see the boys, or he doesn't want to talk to the boys while he's still trying to figure things out in case they want answers, you know. Excuse me, not that he ever gives them answers anyway. So maybe he's just afraid to be more tempted to. Or maybe he's afraid something is coming alive in Sam and he doesn't want to have to try to deal with that until he knows 100% what's going on. So yeah, I don't think we ever get definitive, exact answers about specifically what he's talking about there, but I think that's what he's talking about. Like, I think just sort of the overall, like, the total, what happened with Mary, why and how she died, and then what's been done to Sam, as well as sort of where and what got her, which I think he's starting to realize now is the yellow-eyed demon, or just the demon, right? They don't know he has yellow eyes at this point. But I think that's what he's learning, and that's the truth he's trying to learn, and so he doesn't want to talk to the boys until he knows more about that. I think that's what I've always assumed anyway. Let me know if you think differently. But yeah, this was a great episode, as always. I loved it. I hope my voice was not too horrible to listen to. I can just sort of hear my very nasally, sad voice in my headphones. But yeah, this was great. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And if you want to see full-length early reactions, you can come on over to Patreon. The description is in the link below. And yeah, come on over, chat with us, and or like and comment below as well. That would be great. I love talking to anybody about Supernatural at all times. So if you want to talk about anything, just drop a comment or come on over to Patreon. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Bye.